Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look at a topic incredibly close to home for many of us, our canine companions. We've got a fascinating collection of sources, ranging from cutting-edge scientific research to, ancient spiritual texts.
Yeah, and they really challenge what we thought we knew about dogs.
Exactly.
Indeed. Our mission today really is to go beyond just the wagging tails and wet noses.
Right.
We want to uncover the, let's say, profound consciousness and maybe even the spiritual significance of dogs.
Offering insights that could truly transform your relationship with your furry best friend.
That's the goal.
So if you've ever wondered what truly beats within the heart of your dog, or, how they perceive the world around them, you're definitely in for a treat. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first up, this coevolution thing. For over 30,000 years, humans and dogs have been kind of entangled in this evolutionary dance.
That's right.
And it's literally rewired both our brains. This isn't just like simple companionship.
No, it's much deeper. It's a profound coevolution, a partnership that's really shaped the essence of both species.
What's truly remarkable here, I think, is that dogs are the only species.
Yeah, the only one.
Capable of reading human facial expressions with the same accuracy as a human child.
It's astonishing, isn't it? Even our closest primate relatives, like chimps, they just can't match this skill.
Wow.
It really underscores just how uniquely intertwined our species have become over all those millennia.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This thing called the domestication paradox. You see, dogs are the only domesticated species that actively seeks eye contact with humans.
Which is strange because normally...
Exactly. Why is that paradoxical? Because in most animal interactions, direct eye contact is like a threat, a sign of aggression.
Right.
Yet, with dogs, puppies as young as 6 weeks old instinctively gaze into human eyes.
And when they do,
it triggers the release of oxytocin, the love hormone, in both species.
In both. It's this mutual bonding mechanism, and it's identical, literally identical to what happens between human mothers and infants.
Forging this incredibly powerful connection right from the very start.
Precisely.
Now, for decades, science kind of clung to this, outdated idea, didn't it? That animals were just biological machines.
Oh, absolutely. The old behaviorist view, just stimulus and response.
Simply reacting to stimuli without genuine emotion or, individual personality.
But modern research has completely shattered that barrier, thank goodness.
It really feels like a revolutionary shift in how we understand animal consciousness.
Definitely. Contemporary science now definitively recognizes that dogs possess consistent, measurable personalities.
Consistent and measurable.
Yeah, traits that remain stable over time and across different situations. This understanding moves us far beyond seeing them as just automatons.
They really are individuals.
They truly are individuals with distinct characteristics.
So when we talk about these canine personalities, we're not just talking about vague feelings, right?
Not at all. Scientists have actually categorized them into 5 core dimensions.
Okay, what are those?
Well, there's sociability, how playful they are, how prone they are to chase things.
Okay.
Their aggressiveness, which varies a lot, of course, and their curiosity, or conversely, their fearfulness.
And how do researchers measure these things?
Well, they use sophisticated tools, things like questionnaires filled out by owners, like the CBRQ or MCPQ, or direct behavioral testing in controlled settings.
I see.
And these methods reveal all sorts of nuances, like attention-seeking behavior, separation anxiety, and even their unique trainability levels.
And here's a discovery I found just mind-blowing. It absolutely shatters breed stereotypes.
Oh, this is a big one.
Only about 15% of a dog's personality is actually determined by breed genetics.
Just 15%. Think about that. It's surprisingly low for many people.
It really is. So if we connect this to the bigger picture.
It means a staggering 85% is shaped by individual experiences, their environment, their upbringing, basically everything after they're born.
Nurture dramatically outweighs nature.
Dramatically. And this finding has huge implications for how we approach dog training, adoption, and just their overall care.
It really suggests every dog has this incredible capacity for individual growth and adaptation, regardless of breed.
Exactly.
So, okay, a dog's personality is this complex interplay, this dance between genetics and environment. We know selective breeding gives us those, distinct behavioral patterns like a border collie's intense herding instinct or a retriever's love of fetching.
Sure, those tendencies are there, but even within a single breed, you see massive variation in personality.
Which brings up the timing aspect, right? Those critical developmental windows.
Yes, very important. The sacred socialization period, which is roughly from 3 to 16 weeks old, is arguably the most crucial phase in a dog's entire life.
3 to 16 weeks. Why so critical?
During these weeks, a puppy's brain is incredibly plastic. It's literally forming neural pathways at an astronomical rate, like 1.8 million per second, some estimate. This is when their core personality truly gets wired. Positive experiences during this window create confident, adaptable adults. Negative ones, well, they can have lasting effects.
That's a really significant finding for anyone raising a puppy.
Absolutely essential.
And beyond that key period, there are also these fear periods, typically around 8-10 weeks, and then again during adolescence.
That's right. These aren't personality traits, but more like neurological transition times. Their brains become hypersensitive to new or potentially threatening stimuli.
So being aware of those is key.
Essential for guiding them through potentially stressful experiences without creating lasting fear. And speaking of influence, there's the human factor.
How we affect them.
Immensely. Dogs possess an almost uncanny ability to mirror our emotional states. Research clearly shows dogs living with anxious humans have elevated cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone.
So they're literally absorbing our stress.
It seems so. While dogs with calm owners tend to display greater emotional stability themselves, it's a deep emotional contagion.
That directly impacts their well-being.
Wow. It really makes you think about your own state around your dog.
Definitely. Now, we often talk about how smart dogs are, but what about their social intelligence specifically? How does it compare, say, to young kids?
It's fascinating. Dogs aren't just emotionally intelligent, they're social geniuses. Their social cognitive abilities actually rival those of human children in some ways.
Rival human children.
Yes, which is a remarkable example of convergent evolution. It's not something you typically find even in their wild relatives, like wolves or other intelligent mammals to the same degree.
And some dogs are true vocabulary virtuosos.
Yeah.
I've heard about these cases.
Oh, absolutely. Think of dogs like Chaser, the border collie who learned over 1,000 words.
1,000 words.
Or Rico, another border collie who demonstrated fast mapping.
Fast mapping, what's that?
It's the ability to infer the meaning of a new word after only 1 or maybe 2 exposures. Very similar to how human toddlers learn language.
So what does this all mean for us interacting with them?
Well, it strongly suggests they're not just reacting to commands based on tone or rote learning. They seem to be genuinely understanding us on a pretty profound level, processing and inferring meaning from our words.
That changes how you talk to your dog.
It really should. And get this. Fascinating studies even reveal that a dog's social position within a group can affect how they learn.
How so?
Dominant dogs, or those higher in a perceived hierarchy, seem to learn more effectively from human instructors.
Okay.
Whereas subordinate dogs often learn better from observing their immediate superiors in the pack structure, if one exists.
That suggests really sophisticated social cognition influencing their learning. They're not just learning in a vacuum.
Not at all. And their empathy engine.
Yes.
It's truly something else.
Real empathy.
Yes, genuine empathy, the ability to understand and even share human emotions. We see their physiological responses actually mirror ours.
Like what?
Like their cortisol levels rising when they hear recordings of infant cries, or their heart rate increasing when they sense human distress. And this leads to some truly remarkable medical miracles.
You mean like detecting diseases?
Exactly. Dogs can detect incredibly subtle biological changes that humans just can't perceive. They can sense hypoglycemia before symptoms even appear, predict seizures sometimes 20 minutes before onset.
20 minutes.
And they can detect specific volatile organic compounds, those tiny chemical signatures that indicate certain cancers in breath or urine samples.
And I heard even COVID-19.
Yes. Recent studies show remarkable accuracy, sometimes over 90%, in detecting COVID-19 from scent samples. This olfactory empathy, as some call it, transforms them.
From companions into, well, life-saving medical devices with feelings.
Beautifully put. Yes.
It's clear science is revealing incredible depths to canine consciousness. But, for centuries, way beyond the lab, dogs have held this profound spiritual significance across culture.
Oh, absolutely. That's a whole other dimension.
What did ancient civilizations understand about them that maybe we're only now rediscovering through science?
It's a great question. Across virtually every ancient civilization, you find dogs appearing as these universal threshold guardians.
The threshold guardian.
Yes, figures that stand at the boundary, especially between life and death. Think of Anubis in ancient Egypt, the jackal-headed god who guided souls through the underworld.
Right, Anubis.
Or in Greek mythology, you have Cerberus guarding the gates of Hades, and Argos, Odysseus's loyal dog, representing unwavering loyalty even beyond death.
And this isn't just one or two cultures.
No, it's remarkably consistent. Norse tradition had Garmar guarding Helheim. Aztec civilization had Xolotl, the dog-headed god who guided souls to Mictlan. Hindu tradition links dogs with Bhairava and as messengers of Yamaraj, the god of death. Celtic mythology has Cuchulainn, whose name means Hound of Culan.
That cross-cultural consistency is really striking.
It really is.
And it's not just ancient history either, is it? Modern mystical beliefs often attribute powerful spiritual abilities to dogs.
That's true. Many people today believe dogs possess psychic sensitivity, allowing them to sense spirits or presences we can't.
Or even red auras, perceiving human energy fields.
Yes, those beliefs are quite common in certain spiritual circles. And things like prophetic dreams involving dogs, or even ideas about them resonating with crystals.
So this raises a really important question. What can dogs teach us spiritually?
Well, I think they are truly gurus of unconditional love. They offer this kind of living curriculum of canine wisdom.
Masterclasses
In present moment awareness, first off, dogs live so fully in the now. They teach unconditional love without judgment or expectation. They just love.
Sure.
They also demonstrate incredible resilience in the face of adversity. And they model authentic expression. They never pretend to feel differently than they actually do.
That's a lesson in itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And beyond companionship, science backs up their therapeutic power.
We feel it, but there's data too.
Oh, yes. Studies confirm petting dogs reduces blood pressure and heart rate. Cortisol levels drop significantly during positive dog interaction. They help veterans process trauma and PTSD recovery. For depression, canine companionship is shown to increase serotonin and dopamine, those feel-good neurochemicals.
So they're healers on multiple levels.
Physical, emotional, and for many, spiritual.
Which brings us inevitably to the really big philosophical question. Do dogs possess eternal souls?
The soul question. That's the great divide, isn't it? It's puzzled thinkers for millennia.
Historically, you had figures like Descartes who viewed them almost as, well, sophisticated biological machines without true consciousness.
Right, the beast machine idea. Thankfully, we've moved past that.
Definitely. But others, like Augustine, suggested they had a sensitive soul but lacked a rational soul.
And now modern neuroscience is showing neural patterns in dogs that are consistent with emotional consciousness, mirroring human brain activity in key areas.
So science is leaning towards consciousness, but what about the soul? How do different religions view it?
It varies dramatically. Traditional Christianity was often ambiguous, sometimes even dismissive of animal souls. But modern interpretations are evolving.
Like Pope Francis.
Yes, Pope Francis famously made comments suggesting animals might join humans in the afterlife, comforting a grieving child. That marked a significant shift for many Catholics.
And Eastern traditions.
Eastern traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism generally believe dogs possess souls that reincarnate, their future lives influenced by karma, just like humans.
Indigenous beliefs often see them as spirit guides too, right?
Very much so. Integral parts of the spiritual ecosystem.
And culturally, we have the Rainbow Bridge phenomenon.
Yes, a hugely powerful concept in modern Western culture for processing pet loss. It provides immense psychological comfort and this spiritual hope for an eventual joyful reunion.
It meets a deep need.
It absolutely does. And the neuroscience of grief backs up the depth of that need. Brain imaging studies show that losing a beloved dog activates the very same neural pathways as losing a human family member.
The exact same pathways.
The exact same. This is profound scientific confirmation that pet grief isn't lesser grief. Neurologically, it's identical to human grief.
That really underscores the depth of our connection.
It validates that profound sense of loss people feel.
Okay, we've touched on their incredible senses and intelligence. It makes you wonder then about all those stories we hear.
Yeah.
You know, dogs seemingly predicting earthquakes or sensing ghosts or something.
The sixth sense anecdotes. Yeah, they're common.
Is there a scientific explanation for what often seems like a supernatural ability?
Well, what's fascinating is that while these abilities can seem supernatural, modern research is increasingly finding scientific explanations for many of them.
Such as?
For instance, we now know dogs can detect shifts in the Earth's magnetic field. They also have infrasound perception.
Infrasound.
And sounds at frequencies far below human hearing. Things like distant earthquakes, storms, or volcanic activity might generate infrasound that dogs pick up long before we do.
Okay.
And then there's their olfactory sensitivity, their sense of smell, which is anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 times greater than ours.
10,000 times.
Or more. This allows them to detect extremely subtle chemical changes in the environment or even in people's bodies, as we discussed with medical detection.
So those stories of dogs fleeing Pompeii before the eruption, or acting strangely before earthquakes or tsunamis.
Science has increasingly compelling potential explanations. They might be sensing seismic precursors, changes in air pressure, or subtle ground vibrations that we're completely oblivious to.
So not necessarily supernatural, but rather incredible natural abilities we're only just beginning to fully grasp.
Exactly. Super senses, perhaps, rather than a sixth sense.
This deepening understanding of dogs as sentient, emotional, incredibly perceptive beings. It creates a profound ethical obligation for us, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The scientific consensus is increasingly recognizing them as sentient beings capable of subjective experience, emotional depth, suffering, and complex social relationships.
So what does that mean in practical terms? How should this change how we treat them?
Well, firstly, it means we must recognize and respect their individual personality. Avoid lazy breed stereotypes and honor their unique preferences, fears, and joys.
Treat them as individuals.
Precisely. It also means actively ensuring their emotional welfare. That includes providing adequate mental stimulation, meeting their social needs, minimizing stress, and understanding their communication signals.
And importantly, it demands compassionate end-of-life considerations.
Yes. Prioritizing their comfort, minimizing suffering, making difficult decisions with their best interests at heart, and validating the profound grief of their human companions when the time comes.
This understanding, hopefully, is driving a global consciousness shift.
I believe it is. We're seeing it lead to stronger legal protections in some places, improved animal welfare standards, and stricter ethics guidelines for research involving dogs worldwide. It's a slow process, but the direction is positive.
So wrapping this all together, how do we apply all of this incredible knowledge day to day to enhance our relationship with our dogs?
There are many ways you can enhance your relationship through personality-based training. Really observe your dog, assess their individual traits, customize your training approach, celebrate their uniqueness rather than forcing them into a generic box.
Tailor to the individual dog.
Exactly. You can also integrate spiritual practices if that resonates with you. Things like shared quiet time that feels like meditation, or simple gratitude exercises focused on your bond, or just connecting consciously with nature together on walks.
Making those moments more intentional.
Yes. And focus on holistic wellness, addressing their physical, mental, emotional, and social needs as interconnected parts of their whole being.
And what about our homes?
You can even create sort of sacred spaces at home. Maybe a comfortable, safe den area, a small sensory garden patch if you have space, or just a dedicated comfort zone. It deepens that feeling of security and belonging. Ritual and routine can also be very grounding for them.
What an incredible deep dive this has been. Our journey through canine personality and spirituality really reveals a profound truth, I think.
Which is?
That dogs are not just animals sharing our space. They are conscious beings offering invaluable wisdom about love, about presence, about the very nature of existence itself.
Well said. And that finding that only 15% of their personality is tied to breed genetics, with 85% shaped by individual experience, that alone revolutionizes how we should view canine development. It emphasizes the crucial importance of nurture, of environment, of kindness.
Absolutely. And their empathetic abilities, from sensing our subtle emotions to detecting life-threatening medical emergencies, demonstrate a level of consciousness that truly demands our deep respect and protection.
It really does.
And tracing their role from ancient threshold guardians to modern spiritual teachers. Dogs really do serve as bridges between worlds, don't they?
In many ways, yes. Their ability to heal our bodies, our minds, and potentially our spirits transforms the human-dog relationship into something potentially sacred. A genuine spiritual practice if you approach it that way.
Every walk becomes a walking meditation, maybe. Every training session, a dialogue. Every moment of simple companionship, a gift of pure presence.
Beautifully put. So as we move forward, the call, perhaps, is to carry this understanding into every interaction with our canine companions.
Advocate for their welfare.
Celebrate their individuality.
And honor this sacred bond that has enriched human life for literally millennia.
That dog sleeping at your feet or maybe waiting by the door, they're not just a pet. They are potentially a teacher, a healer, a guardian, and a guide, all rolled into one furry package.
They really are living proof that love transcends species. It reminds me of what Mahatma Gandhi famously said.
Ah, yes. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated.
A powerful reminder.
Indeed. So for you listening, perhaps we can invite you to consider, how might recognizing the depth of your own dog's consciousness transform your daily life, maybe even your spiritual practice?
What new layers of meaning, what new depths of connection can you discover in this profound, ancient, sacred bond? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep connecting to the amazing world around you.